Guru ki jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ji ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Astater Satashri Shiman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Parivrajaka Astater Satashri Shiman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class. Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Vitangscha Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Harivom. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. We are now beginning chapter 13. And yesterday we read the introduction for this chapter. And chapter 13 is called The Pastimes with Jagadananda Pandit and Raghunath Das Goswami. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur
Jai Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, we are on text number 1 of the 13th chapter of the Antya Lila. This is the second volume. Krishna Vicheda Jatartya Kshine Chapi Manastanu Tadate Pulatam Bhavar Yasyatam Gaudamashraya. Let me take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga. His mind became exhausted and his body very thin from the pain of separation from Krishna. But when he felt ecstatic love for the Lord, he again became fully developed. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya. And all glories to the devotees of the Lord. Henamate Mahaprabhu Jagarananda Shange Nanamate Asvadaya Premira Tarange. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would taste the various transcendental relationships of pure love in the company of Jagadananda Pandit. Krishna Vichede Duke Kshina Manakai Bhava Veshe Prabhu Kabu Hapulitahai. The unhappiness of separation from Krishna exhausted the Lord's mind and reduced the structure of his body. But when he felt emotions of ecstatic love, he again became developed and healthy. And this was all in very quickly. So these are expressions of the divine body of Mahaprabhu. Nobody's body can go through those changes so quickly. Kalara Sharalate Shayana Ati Kshinakai Sharalate Hadalage Vyatahai. Because he was very thin, When he lay down to rest on the dry bark of plantain trees, it caused him pain in his bones. Deki Shaba Bhaktagana Mahadukapai Sahite Nare Jagadananda Srijila Upai. All the devotees felt very unhappy to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in pain. Indeed, they could not tolerate it. Then Jagadananda Pandit devised a remedy. Shukshma Vastra Ani Gauri Kadiya Rangaila Samulira Tula Diya Taha Purarila. He acquired some fine cloth and colored it with red oxide. Then he filled it with cotton from a simulu tree. Ekta Tuli Bali Sagovindera Hate Dila Prabhude Soyaiha Ihaya Tarare Kahila. In this way he made a quilt and a pillow, which he then gave to Govinda, saying, "Ask the Lord to lie on this." Swarupa Gosani ke kahe Jagadananda Aji apane jahan Prabhu karaiha sayana. Jagadananda said to Swarupa Damodar Goswami, "Today please personally persuade Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to lie down on the bed." Shayanera kale Swarupa tanye rahila Tuli bali sadeki Prabhu kroda vishtahaila. When it was time for the Lord to go to his bed, Swarupa Damodar stayed nearby, but when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the quilt and pillow, he was immediately very angry. Govindere puchena iha karaila konajana Jagadanandera nama shuni shanko chahaila mana. The Lord inquired from Govinda, "Who has made this?" When Govinda named Jagadananda Pandit, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was somewhat fearful. Govindere kahi setuli dura kaila Kalara Sharala Upara Shayana Karila. After asking Govinda to put aside the quilt and pillow, the Lord lay down on the dry plantain bark. Swarupa kahe tomara icha ki kahite pari Shaya upe kshile pandita duka pabe bare. Swarupa Damodar said to the Lord, "I cannot contradict your supreme rule, my Lord, but if you do not accept the bedding, Jagadananda Pandit will feel great unhappiness. Prabhu kahena kata eka anaha padite, Jagadananda chahe amaya bishaya bunjaite." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "You might as well bring a bedstead for me to lie on. Jagadananda wants me to enjoy material happiness." Sanyasi manusha amara bhumite shayana amare kata tuli bali samastaka mundana. I am in the renounced order, and therefore I must lie on the floor. For me to use a bedstead, quilt, or pillow would be very shameful. Swarupa Gosayasi Pandite Kahila Shuni Jagadananda Mani Mahaduka Paila. When Swarupa Damodar returned and related all these incidents, Jagadananda Pandit felt very unhappy. So these are pastimes of very intense affection between the Lord and his completely surrendered soul. And there's so many varieties of personality. And so Jagadananda has a particular nature, and he cannot stand to see the Lord fasting or unhappy or he's always divinely happy, but uncomfortable or anything. He really can't tolerate it. Swarupa Gosai Tabi Srijila Prakara Kadalira Shushka Patra Anila Apara. Then Swarupa Damodar Goswami devised another method. First he secured a large quantity of dried banana leaves. Nahe chiri chiri taha ati shukshma kaila Prabhura birvasa duite se shababarila. Then he tore the leaves into very fine fibers with his nails and filled 2 of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's outer garments with the fibers. He mata dui kaila odana padane, angikara kaila prabhu aneka jatane. In this way, Swarup Damodar made some bedding and a pillow, and after much endeavor by the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted them. So Swarup Damodar is harmonizing the situation. Tate shayana karena prabhu deki shabe shuki jagadananda bitare kroda bahire mahaduki. Everyone was happy to see the Lord lie down on that bed, but Jagadananda was inwardly angry and externally he appeared very unhappy. Purve Jagadanandera icha vrindavana jaite Prabhu agyana dena tare na pare chalite. Formerly, when Jagadananda Pandit had desired to go to Vrindavan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had not given his permission and therefore he could not go. Vitarena kroda dukkha prakashana kaila matula jaite prabhustane agya magila. Now concealing his anger and unhappiness, Jagadananda Pandit again asked Sri Chaitanya for permission to go to Mathura. He's unhappy because he wanted a nicer bed, a nicer situation. But Mahaprabhu would only accept something not quite as hard. Prabhu kape mathura jaiba amaya krodakari amaya dosha laganya tumi haiba bikari. With great affection, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "If you are angry with me when you go to Mathura, you will merely become a beggar and criticize me." Jagadananda kahe prabhura darila charana purvahaite ichamora jaite vrindavana. Grasping the Lord's feet, Jagadananda Pandit then said, "For a long time I've desired to go to Vrindavan. Prabhu agya nahitate napari jaite ebe agya deha avasya jaimu nishite." I could not go without your Lordship's permission. Now you must give me permission and I shall certainly go there. Prabhu prite tara gamana nakare na angikara teho prabhura tanya agya mage bara bara. Because of affection for Jagadananda Pandit, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not permit him to depart. But Jagadananda Pandit repeatedly insisted that the Lord give him permission to go. Swarupa Gosanyere Pandita Kaila Nivedana Purvahaite Vrindavana Jaite Moramana. Jagadananda then submitted a plea to Swarup Damodar Goswami. For a very long time, he said, "I've wanted to go to Vrindavan." Prabhu agya bina taha jaite napari ebe agya na dena more krode jata bali. I cannot go there, however, without the Lord's permission, which at present he denies me. He says, "You are going because you are angry at me." Sahaje more taha jaite manahai Prabhu agya lanya deha kariye vinay. Naturally, I have a desire to go to Vrindavan. Therefore, please humbly request him to grant his permission. So it's natural I will want to go to Vrindavan, but he is angry. Tabe Swarupa Gosanya kahe prabhura charane jagaranandera ichabada jaite Vrindavane. Thereafter, Swarup Damodar Goswami submitted this appeal at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Jagadananda Pandit intensely desires to go to Vrindavan. Tomara tanye aga teho mage bara bara agya deha mathura deki aishe akabara. He begs for your permission again and again. Therefore, please permit him to go to Mathura and then return. Aire de kite jaiche goda deshe jaya, taiche akabara Vrindavana de kiaya. You permitted him to go to see Mother Sachi in Bengal, and you may similarly permit him to go to see Vrindavan and then return here. Swarupa go sanyera bole prabhu agya dila, Jagaranande bolanya tare shikahila. At the request of Swarup Damodar Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu granted Jagadananda Pandit permission to go. The Lord sent for him and instructed him as follows. Varanasi paryanta swachande jaipapate age savadane jaibak chatriyadi sate. You may go as far as Varanasi without encountering disturbances, but beyond Varanasi you should be very careful to travel on the path in the company of the Kshatriyas. In those days, the path from Varanasi to Vrindavan was infested with robbers, and therefore there were Kshatriyas to protect travelers. Kevala Gaudiya Paile Bhattapada Karibande Shabaluti Bandi Rake Jaite Virode. As soon as the plunderers on the road see a Bengali traveling alone, they take everything from him, arrest him, and do not let him go. Purport. Bengalis are generally not very stout and strong. Therefore, when a lone Bengali traverses the road of Bihar, the plunderers on the road capture him, rob him of all his belongings, and kidnap him for their own service. According to one opinion, the rogues of Bihar know very well that Bengalis are intelligent. Therefore, these thieves generally force the Bengalis into service, requiring intelligence, and do not let them leave. Srila Prabhupada once said, what a Bengali will say today, the world will say tomorrow. Mathura gele sanatana sangai rahiba, Mathuraras Swami Shabera Charana Vandiba. When you reach Mathura, you should remain with Sanatana Goswami and offer respectful obeisances to the feet of all the leading men there. Excuse me. Ture rahi bhakti kariha shange narahiba, tansabara achara chestalai te nariba. Do not mix freely with the inhabitants of Mathura, residents of Mathura. Show them respect from a distance, because you are in a different platform of devotional service. You cannot adopt their behavior and practices. The residents of Vrindavan and Mathura are devotees of Krishna in parental affection, and their feelings always conflict with the opinions of the Smarta Brahmins. Devotees who worship Krishna in opulence cannot understand the parental devotional feelings of residents of Mathura and Vrindavan, who follow the path of spontaneous love. Devotees on the platform of Vidhimarg, regulative devotional practices, may misunderstand the activities of those on the platform of Ragamarg, or devotional service in spontaneous love. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Jagadananda Pandit to remain apart from the residents of Vrindavan, who were spontaneous devotees, so as not to become disrespectful toward them. So, Jagadananda Pandit is Satyabhama in Dwarka Lila, and Dwarka is more formal. It is a more formal kind of relationship. Sanatana Shange Kariha Vanadarashana Sanatanera Shangana Chadiba Akakshana. Visit all the 12 forests of Vrindavan in the company of Sanatana Goswami. Do not leave his association for even a moment. Shigra ashiha tahanarahi hachira kala govardhane nachadiha dekite gopala. You should remain in Vrindavan for only a short time and then return here as soon as possible. Also, do not climb Govardhan Hill to see the Gopal deity. Purport. In his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur advises that one remaining in Vrindavan remaining in Vrindavan for a long time. As the saying goes, familiarity breeds contempt. If one stays in Vrindavan for many days, he may fail to maintain proper respect for its inhabitants. Therefore, those who have not attained the stage of spontaneous love for Krishna should not live in Vrindavan very long. It is better for them to make short visits. One should also avoid climbing Govardhan Hill to see the Gopal deity, since Govardhan Hill itself is identical with Gopal. One should not step on the hill or touch it with his feet. One may see Gopal when he goes elsewhere. Vrindavan is, we have to stay in a very good and really careful mood. It's not, because Vrindavan now is so much built up, there's so much structure and so many things on the surface, but we're not concerned with the surface. So if we were going to get distracted staying there so long and it's just an ordinary place and there's a shop over here and a thing over there, that will not be good for our spiritual progress. Gurudev did not like the devotees shopping in Vrindavan for themselves. They like that they will go to the holy places that concentrate in a very humble mood, just offering obeisances in a humble mood and seeing the places of Vrindavan and then coming out. Amiha asite chikahiha sanatane amaratare akastana jainakare Vrindavane. Inform Sanatana Goswami that I am coming to Vrindavan for a second time, and he should therefore arrange a place for me to stay. Atabali Jagadananda Kaila Lingana Jagadananda Chalila Prabhura Vandiya Charana. After saying this, the Lord embraced Jagadananda Pandit, who then worshipped the Lord's lotus feet and started for Vrindavan. Very simple business in those days. There's nothing to arrange, very little to arrange. You just start walking. Shababhakta Ganatanya Agya Magila Vanapate Chali Chali Varanasi Di Aila. He took permission from all the devotees and then departed. Traveling on the forest path, he soon reached Varanasi. So we will continue this tomorrow. It's very lovely. And Srila Guru Maharaj, just like when we're living in the temple, we're not feeling, I'm independent, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go to this party, I'm going to go here and there and do all these things. But we're always telling the devotees, I'm going here, I'm going to do this, I'm coming back, I will be back at this time. It is very important etiquette. And when one time, one of our friends told this story that he had gone somewhere and came back, and Guru Maharaj said, "Where were you?" And he said, "I went to this and that." And he said, "You're just going here and there, just whimsical, going here and there, without any permission or without any seva." So we have it's like a family. We don't want to And also taking permission from Gurudev and from Mahaprabhu and Giriraj, and coming and going in the mood of seva, even if it is from some exercise or whatever it is. We have to stay connected with the center and not be doing all kinds of whimsical things and then living in the temple. This is not a good program. And especially doing things which are harmful for our spiritual progress. That's actually forbidden. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. All right, continuing with Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita by the grace of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki Jai, Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad ki Jai. Now we're on page 366 in this first volume here. So now Narada Muni is preparing to depart from the company of Hanumanji, and Hanuman is feeling, to see the Pandavas, that would be so wonderful. But then he's thinking, it just is very much parallel to the instructions of Mahaprabhu to Jagadananda Pandit, saying your mood is different from their mood. You won't misunderstand, so don't mix freely with them. Hanuman is also saying their familiar attitude toward the Lord, this I don't know if I'll be able to understand that, and I may misunderstand something and do something wrong. So I think I should just stay here. Let the wonderfully varied pastimes of the Lord be the very life of His servants, who think of nothing but Him. For such devotees, those pastimes always increase the ecstasy of love of God. Atapi sahaja vyaja karuna komalatmani avyakra bhava prakritav arya dharma pradarshake akapatni vratadare sada vinaya vriddaya lajaya vanata shrimad vadane do vilokane Jagat Branjana Siladbye Lodya Pura Purandare Maharaja Diraje Shri Sita Lakshmana Sevate Bharatajayasi Presta Sugrive Varaneshware Vibhishana Shite Chapa Panaudasarathatmaje Koshaya Nandane Srimad Raghunatha Swarupini Svashminatyantiki Pritir Mamate Naiva Vardita. Even so, I simply feel more attracted to the Supreme Lord in His eternal identity as Sri Raghunath, the son of Dasharat, and the joy of Mother Kaushalya. His heart always tender with natural unaffected compassion, he is spontaneously attracted to loving exchanges with his devotees, exchanges free from any tinge of duplicity. He demonstrates how to follow properly the religious duties of a civilized people. And he upholds the strict vow of having only one wife. In the shyness of innate humility, his face always looks downward, his eyes fixed on the ground. This is the description of Ramachandra, the Supreme Lord himself. He's very humble and shy. I mean, he's a Kshatriya. He can... he's showing... He's not shy to the demons. His exalted character is pleasing to all. He stands with bow in hand. The king of kings, the hero of the city of Ayodhya, served by Sita and Lakshman, and with Bharata as his older brother. He rules the race of monkeys as a dear friend of Sugriva and gives shelter to Vibhishan. By my hearing of the pastimes of Krishna, the unlimited loving attraction I feel toward my own master has increased. So he's saying, Hanuman's saying, oh, the pastimes of Krishna are so wonderful, but I do not want to go and serve that form of Krishna. I want to serve his form as Ramachandra. That is increasing by hearing the pastimes of Krishna. Excuse me. Tasmadasya vishamyatra tadrig rupam idang sada pasyan sakshat sa eveti pibang stacharitamritam. Therefore I think I shall stay here, constantly seeing him in this form and drinking the immortal nectar of his pastimes. So in essence, Hanuman says he's not independent. He can't just go anywhere or do anything on his own whim. Even though he knows that Rama is an expression of Devaki Nandan, he must continue to worship Ramachandra. So this is his desire and his eternal feeling. He knows that Ramachandra is an expansion of the son of Devaki in Mathura and Dwarka, but he wants to serve him in this form forever. This is his natural feeling. Yadachamam kamapyartam udishya prabhura bhavet mahanu kampaya kinchid datum seva sukham param. And when the Lord may sometimes call me for some purpose, by his great mercy, he might allow me the transcendental happiness of serving him. Commentary, if the Lord desires, then I shall go there. Hanuman needs to stay in Kimpurusha Loka to be ready to answer any special request from Lord Ramachandra. And if Sri Krishna in his pastimes kindly calls for Hanuman to assist, for example, to appear on the Kurukshetra battlefield to frighten the Kaurava soldiers, Hanuman, of course, will gladly come at once to Hastinapur or Dwarka. He's saying, of course, I will obey Krishna if he wants me to do something, but just to go there, just for my own purpose, to see him or anything else, that is not a happy thing for Hanuman. He's always in the mood of service. He was on the flag of Arjun. He was called to do that service on the Kurukshetra. And his roars could be heard all over the battlefield. The roars of Hanuman on the flag. And that was very pleasing to Krishna. And he's very happy to do that. Of course, he's worshipping Krishna. But his mood of service is generally toward Ramachandra. Kim vama vishaya sneha prerita pranato mama rupam priyatamang yattat sandarshaitum ishvaraha. Or inspired by affection for me, the Lord may call me just to show me the beautiful form I love more than my own life. A curious story explains this service attitude. Once Lord Krishna in Dwarka wanted to break the pride of Garuda and others by showing the steadfast exclusiveness of Vaishnava devotion. So he called Garuda to his lotus feet and told him, "Please hear my command. You should bring Hanuman from Kimpurashaloka." Garuda went, approached Hanuman and told him, "The personality of Godhead, the king of the Yadavas, is calling you, my dear Hanuman. Please go to him at once." But Hanuman, exclusively devoted to Raghunath, ignored Garuda's request. Angered, Garuda tried to take Hanuman to Krishna by force, but Hanuman, with the tip of his tail, pushed him effortlessly away. Garuda fell through the sky and landed at Dwarka, where Krishna, amused to see him, said, "Dear Garuda, go back to Hanuman and tell him that Sri Raghunath is calling him." Raghunath means Ramachandra. After dispatching Garuda again, Krishna turned himself into Lord Ramachandra and made Sri Balaram become Lakshman. When Queen Satyabhama seemed unable to turn into Sita Devi, Krishna, laughing, had Rukmini become Sita instead. And placed her at his left side. Then the three of them stood waiting for Hanuman at Dwarka. When Garuda met Hanuman and told him of the Lord's request, Hanuman, filled with ecstasy, responded by running to meet the Lord. He took darshan of the disguised Krishna, Balaram, and Rukmini and offered prayers in devotion. Very much satisfied with Hanuman, the Lord bestowed on him whatever benedictions Hanuman chose. So, in order to show Garuda a higher type of devotion, we are always trying to find some higher type of devotion to honor. And Hanuman was able to push Garuda away with his tail. There's other stories about Hanuman and Garuda. I heard one recently by Srila Guru Maharaj, but I didn't write it down. I wasn't listening so attentively because I was busy doing something else. But I want to go back to that story and make sure I understand it right. Tada bhaveyam tatra sutram tvagachadya pandavan tesham griheshu tatpasya parang brahmanarakriti. I must be ready to present myself before him without delay whenever he might call. Now you please go and visit the Pandavas at their home and see the Supreme Absolute Truth in his appearance like a human being. Say, I can't. He was so excited, but then he says, "Oh, Ramachandra may call me." No, I can't go. Having heard Hanuman declare his devotion for Lord Ramachandra, Narada might now want to stay with Hanuman at Kimpurashaloka. But Hanuman suggests that Narada take the opportunity to see Sri Krishna in the company of the Pandavas. Sri Krishna, in his most attractive two-armed form, is the origin of Lord Narayan, since the beauty and charm of Krishna cannot ultimately be described. Narada should go see the Lord Krishna for himself. Moreover, to know fully Krishna's kindness toward the Pandavas, one must personally see it. So knowing all these things, Hanuman is steadfastly, completely devoted to Ramachandra, and Mahaprabhu himself very much was pleased with that mood in Murari Gupta. Murari Gupta is also Hanuman in Mahaprabhu's Lila. Were you going to say something?
No,
I'm
searching pictures of Murari Gupta.
Svayameva prasannam yan muni hridbhaga gocharam manoharataram chitra lila madhuri makaram. Lord Krishna is fully satisfied in himself. Even great sages cannot perceive him in their hearts or describe him with their words. He is a supreme enchanter because his wonderful pastimes are the source of endless attraction. The commentary, the Pandavas did not follow any sadhana for self-realization. Yet Lord Krishna was so satisfied with their devotional attitude that he bestowed upon him his full mercy, rarely obtained even by accomplished sages. Thus the Pandavas forever enjoy the most exclusive good fortune. They live in intimate relationship with the supremely attractive personality of Godhead, whose pastime activities are full of sweet variety, and who is the source of all other attractive persons, including Cupid. So there are Kantarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobha. Millions of Cupids are fainting to see the beauty of Krishna. Cupid is a personality of mundane lust, and so he's attractive to all persons caught in the web of mundane life. But that is not real beauty. But when Cupid beheld the pastimes of the Lord, millions of Cupids were fainting. Krishna is inconceivably more attractive than Cupid. Brihad Vrata Dharanasmangs Tangschag Garhastya Dharmina Samrajya Vyapritan Matva Maparadavrito Bhava. Please do not let your intelligence become shrouded by the offensive idea that you and I are staunch celibates and the Pandavas are mere householders distracted by political affairs. So we have to understand that the purpose of things, if one is a completely surrendered soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he doesn't have to observe vows that are very helpful to those who are trying to approach that standard. In this verse, Hanuman says to rest any doubt, lays to rest any doubt by which one may think that because the Pandavas are wealthy sense gratifiers, renunciants like him and Narada should avoid associating with them. Hanuman here uses the plural form, asman, to include any implication, the four Kumaras and other lifelong, to include, by implication, the four Kumaras and other lifelong celibates. Simply to think that the Pandavas are materialists, even without saying anything against them, is a grave offense against pure Vaishnavas, an offense from which the offender may never be able to recover. Therefore, Narada should not start thinking in this way. Hanuman is giving some instruction to Narada. But of course, Narada knows this actually, but this is for our benefit. So what is necessary for rehabilitation of a prisoner is certainly not necessary for those who are free and good character. Nishpriha sarvakameshu Krishna padanusevaya tevai paramahangshanam acharjartya padambujaha. Those Pandavas never desire anything material because they constantly serve Lord Krishna's lotus feet. And indeed their own lotus feet are worshipped by the spiritual masters of the Paramhamsas. Is that clear? The Pandavas never desire anything material. Their kingdom, all these things, so much inconceivable wealth, all these things, they're not material. These are things that they're constantly using in the service of the Lord. Their whole center of all of their existence and everything that they do is Krishna. The Pandavas never desire anything material because they constantly serve Lord Krishna's lotus feet, not just externally, internally. And indeed their own lotus feet are worshipped by the spiritual masters of the Paramahamsas. As powerful kings in an age when royal status meant much more than now, the Pandavas commanded immense resources for control and enjoyment. But the Pandavas were attracted only by pure devotional service to Sri Krishna's lotus feet. And so their own feet were worshipped by the greatest of the renounced sages. They were worshipped by those celibate sadhus. Many men commonly honored as self-realized saints are in fact polluted by impersonalism and subtle desires for fame and power. True Paramahamsas are extremely rare in this world, especially in modern times. Even 5,000 years ago, the ecstatic devotion of the Pandavas distinguished them as saints among saints. Any questions?
What's the difference between a pavana and a paramahamsa?
A what?
Pavana.
Pavana? The Pandavas? Oh, the Pandavas are 5 brothers, particular people. Well, you know Arjuna, of course, you're familiar from Gita. But there were 4 brothers of Arjuna. And their fathers was Pandu, so they're called the Pandavas. And so they are all completely surrendered souls. And there were very, very exalted personalities. Yudhisthira is the eldest. Then Bhima, who we heard about yesterday in relation to killing Jarasandha anyway. And then Arjuna, and then 2 twins, Nakula and Sahadev. Those are the 5 Pandava brothers, and very exalted personalities. All of them fully devoted to Krishna. Fully. They had inconceivable wealth. Whether they lived in the jungle or whether they lived in palaces didn't make it. Didn't change their devotional mood at all. They had no desire for material life.
They were not Paramahamsas, right?
They're worshipped by Paramahamsas.
They were Vaishnavas, right?
Yeah, pure Vaishnavas. So what Hanuman is saying, they're worshipped by the gurus of the Paramahamsas. At a certain stage, Paramahamsa is seeing something. Then there's all divine things, spiritual matter. Everything is spiritual. They're taking what is the essence of everything. Hamsa means swan, and a swan. If you mix milk and water, a swan can drink only the milk, and the bowl will be left only with water. So they're taking the essence of things. That is Paramahamsa. But that's on different levels. But the Pandavas have spontaneous love for Krishna. They're not practitioners of that. Excuse me. Tesham Jeshtasya Samrajye Pravritir Bhagavat Priyat Attobahu Vidadeva Durlabha Rajya Sampadaha Jai Shri Guru Gaurachandra Giri Ki Jai. The eldest of these brothers rules the state out of love for the personality of Godhead. Thus his kingdom is rich in all sorts of assets rarely enjoyed by the demigods. So he's the ruler. Actually, Yudhisthira became the ruler of all the kings. He became the emperor after the Kurukshetra battle. But he ruled it for Krishna. He didn't rule it for himself. He had no sense of doing anything for himself. Commentary: if the Pandavas had no interest in royal opulence, why were they so entangled in it? Only as a burden of love. I must do this. Krishna wants it. King Yudhisthira accepted the responsibilities of the throne because they afforded great opportunities for spreading Krishna consciousness. His kingdom was full of Krishna conscious persons. Everything in the kingdom was meant for Krishna. He knew that two special kinds of service available in the material world: killing demons and preaching to conditioned souls please the Supreme Lord, even when they involve what seems to be material entanglement. Sri Sutra Goswami says, Apipala Dharma Raja Pitrivadranjayan Praja Nishpriha Sarvakamebhya Krishna Padanushevaya. Emperor Yudhisthira administered generously to everyone during his reign. He was exactly like a father. He had no personal ambition and was free from all sorts of sense gratification because of his continuous service to the lotus feet of the Lord, Sri Krishna. So that's in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. Ranjayan Prajaha. Gratifying the citizens does not mean that Yudhisthira Maharaj pacified them with bread and circuses or a booming materialistic economy. It means he encouraged them to become Krishna conscious and made all practical arrangements toward that end. The pleasure of pure devotional service is the only real source of satisfaction for all human beings. As Narada tells Shonika Rishi in the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, you are extremely fortunate because the entire population is being empowered by you spiritually. Because the entire population is being empowered by you spiritually. The truly fortunate leader of society is one who can instill devotion for Lord Hari in the hearts of the people, tormented by material existence. There's a lie that permeates the atmosphere of material life, that by getting certain kinds of opulences, wealth, romantic relationships, power, all these things, that you're going to be happy. That's never true. And the persons who have these assets are constantly in need. They're always thinking, if I get this, then that happiness thing that I've been promised, didn't happen because I didn't have this or I didn't have that. So they're out, very wealthy persons out, I just need an island. If I buy my own island, then I'll be happy. Well, the thing is, I have to have this on the island. And in this way, they go on all the way till death. And that's never achieved. Happiness is a different thing. Happiness is giving, self-giving. To whom? Not to anything and everything, but to the Supreme Lord. That is the heart awakening joy of life. And here's another quote from the Bhagavatam. News even reached the celestial planets about Maharaj Yudhisthira's fame, his queen, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, his worldly possessions, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, and the sacrifices by which he would attain a better destination. So this is the description of the opulence of Yudhisthira. So it's astonishing that persons with these gross bodies on the planet Earth, that they would get any attention from the upper planetary systems. They're looking at the persons on Earth like dragging around these gross bodies and attracted to other gross bodies. Is very pathetic. But Yudhisthira's opulence was so astonishing that even those in the heavenly planets were looking, oh my, this is amazing. O Brahmanins, the opulence of the king was so enchanting that the denizens of heaven aspired for it. But because he was absorbed in the service of the Lord, nothing could satisfy him except the Lord's service. He's thinking, to have a kingdom for any other purpose but that the Lord is pleased, that the Lord wants me to do this? Why would I want that? It's wonderful to hear about great souls. It's so uplifting. Otherwise, we're reading about horrible people in these historical novels. We'll lose the will to be. We'll lose all faith in humanity, as my sister said. I'm reading historical novels and I've lost all faith in humanity. I think you need to read the Mahabharata and hear about great souls, greater than you, and that will uplift you and see what is the potential of human life. In Vedic civilization, the ruler of a kingdom had the right to claim 1/6 of the citizens' total wealth to maintain the government and his personal household. A king also received 1/6 of the people's karmic reactions, which in a pious domain like that of the Pandavas meant a great stock of good karma. So because all the citizens were so pious, they're receiving 1/6 of the income of everyone in order to maintain the government and their own lives. But they're also receiving the good karma of the pious citizen. But the leaders of these countries, they receive so much karmic reaction in receiving the taxes. It's very, very serious situation. Following the lead of King Yudhisthira, his younger brothers helped him rule the kingdom but were not attracted to material enjoyment. These 5 brothers are universally famous for their cooperative spirit and their zeal in upholding the highest principles of human civilization. So those are the Pandavas. And Arjuna, now you have more context when you're hearing Arjuna speaking to Krishna on the battlefield in the Bhagavad Gita. This is one of the Pandavas. But he was very close to Krishna. He was so very like a personal friend. But we will even go further than the Pandavas in this book. How astonishing is this book by Srila Sanatana Goswami. Jai Shri Brihad Bhagavatamrita ki Jai. Jai Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad ki Jai. Sai Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Oh, it's getting exciting.
So much gradation.
Huh?
So much
Gradation. Yes, and in the beginning, Yudhisthira first approached a Brahmin, but the Brahmin was performing pious activities in devotional life. But then he sent him to the king. But that king was very, very pious and in devotional life. He's Vaishnava. But his admiration was for Indra. He said, no, I'm just here on this earth and this and that. Indra's performing sacrifices all the time. So you go to Indra. Indra's like, what are you saying, Narada? I've committed so many offenses, I'm afraid. I practically drowned the inhabitants of Vrindavan. My position is not very good. You should go to, Brahma. Brahma's sending him to Shiva. Then he's on to Shiva, and then Shiva's saying, no, you should go to Prahlad. Prahlad's saying, no, go to Hanuman. And Hanuman saying, go to the Pandavas. And there is real gradation there in devotional life. We are honoring all of these persons, but our goal is what is being given in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
After the Pandavas, where is the Muni going to?
After the Pandavas are sending them to the, I think the Pandavas recommended he go to the Kurus, the Yadava, not the Kurus, the Yadus. The Yadus where Krishna is living all the time, like family members. Like family, and then from there, they're sending him to Uddhava. And from Uddhava go, you'll see. Yeah. This is very beautiful. It just gets more and more beautiful. And more beautiful. And when Krishna goes to, when Narada goes to the queens in Dwarka, and Krishna will not wake up because he's thinking about Vrindavan and missing Vrindavan, and then they make a whole replica of Vrindavan. It's very beautiful and very instructive, extremely instructive about devotional life. And then that will be the end of, but the end of this volume of Brihad Bhagavatamrita is such a beautiful book. It's unbelievable. It's really wonderful. Hare Krishna. Jai. All right then. Any questions? Well, this fly is circumambulating Brihad Bhagavatam. Hari Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Yadavaya Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Jai, 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 Jai. Jai to the Supreme Controller. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhanju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Sakamat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev Ki Jai. Dandavat. Hari Bol.
Jai Bhima Krishna Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Ganga Lila Didi Ki Jai. Jai Tunga Rasa Devi Ki Jai. Tunga Rasa Devi.
Jai.
Jai Harindu Prabhu Ki Jai.
Who?
Jai Udaram Prabhu Ki Jai.
I can't hear who you're saying.
Son Prabhus.
You're too close to the microphone. I think.
I'm very close to the mic.
What did you say?
Harindu Prabhu. Harindu Prabhu.
Hari?
Harindu.
Oh,
Prabhu.
Harindu. Oh.
Udaram Prabhu.
Oh, Dandavat.
And then on YouTube, we don't know who was in YouTube,
Right,
but
Dandavat.
Dandavat, dear devotees. Thank you for tuning in. Hari Bol.
Hare